Section 5, RAD Conversion, admissions to another PHA-administered housing program and changes the head of household, summarize some of the PIC and FSS addendum reporting requirements for somewhat more of the unusual, unique situations that PHAs may encounter. So on RAD conversion, if, let's say, a public housing property is converting through RAD to another form of housing assistance, there's really no change in the FSS program until the actual conversion hits, meaning the subsidy has switched to project-based vouchers from the housing choice voucher, or it's been moved to the multifamily side. The general reporting requirement is I'm either going to submit a FSS exit report or a progress report, very similar to what we did in portability, and then we will submit an end of participation record. And similarly, if the PHA submits the end of participation record prior to that FSS exit or progress, we're going to get an error message, and the PHA will need to void the end of participation record and resubmit. So again, there's a kind of a sequencing issue here that the FSS addendums must come prior to the end of participation record. And then if there's actually, the unit is removed from the PHA's inventory and PIC, you may not be able to submit the FSS exit record or a progress report at that point. And if that happens, we're asking that you please contact the PIC coach for additional guidance. So there's really two forms of converting under the RAD program. The first is if I'm converting to the project-based voucher program. And this, again, is very similar to the portability processing if the PHA is staying with the initial PHA. So here, the requirement will be to submit a FSS progress report using action code 8. And then because they're leaving the public housing program to enter the HCV program, PIC will be expecting an end of participation record. Now that the family is really just switching from one assistance to the another at the same PHA, the Housing Choice Voucher program will process a new admissions record using action code 1, and then the family will continue in the FSS program. They've only changed really the assistance type, and they're going to be a FSS progress report that's submitted using an action code 8. So again, the two FSS progress reports would basically have the same baseline data in them. The second conversion, or the second scenario that may happen is that the conversion, instead of going to the Housing Choice Voucher Program, goes to PBRA. So here, what's going to happen is we're going to submit a action code through action code 8. We're going to have an exit record. And then because there's an exit record, we need to give a reason why the family exited the record. Well, in this case, PIC does not yet have a exit reason for RAD conversion. The closest thing that PIC has is in 17M is the portability move out. So if we're converting from public housing to PBRA, again, we will have to do an exit record, and the reason will be portability move out. And then there will be an end of participation. Even if the family is going to continue in the FSS under this PBRA conversion, we still need the end of participation record. And this similar logic can be used for any type of conversion. If a family converts to another program that the PHA manages, The PIC submission records are very similar to what we've discussed in portability in RAD. So the first bullet is an example would be is that the family was in public housing and moved to the Housing Choice Voucher Program. In this case, the family would be continuing in the FSS program. They'd be still under the same contract. And so we'd be looking for a progress report to be submitted. And then we would have an end of participation. We would have a new admissions record and another progress report. If the family is decided not to continue participation in the FSS program, so again, let's use the example, the family was in public housing and moved to HCV, but no longer wishes to stay within the program, we would have an exit record on the enrollment, and then an end of participation, and then there would be a new admissions in the HCV program. And the third bullet, which is where a family converts either from public housing to HCV, not necessarily through RAD, and they're going to participate in the FSS program still, but that is not tracked in IMS PIC. Again, IMS PIC is really just focused on tracking enrollment information and family information for public housing and HCV programs. So in this case, it would be we're going to have to exit them out of the FSS program, and then we would do an end of participation. The final processing is what happens if there's a change to the head of household, but the family itself is going to stay in the program. And here the requirement is you should submit an FSS exit report for the previous head of household, then submit the new 5058 for the new head of household and an enrollment record, and then you would just continue the progress reports as normal.